Let's have a little video, shall we? This is a companion video to what I wrote the other night. I had a date that I thought I blew this date on an online date. And the essence of it, if you want to watch the other video that's you paw around here somewhere, you'll dig it up. It said something about me blowing it or something. I can't remember. But the essence of the date was I went on a date, and in the middle of the date, a girl gets an emergency phone call and had to run. And she answered the phone, and it was a friend of hers having a meltdown, and she was flipping out. Oh my God, you were supposed to meet me, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes, gotta go. And she hangs up and says, oh my God, my friend's having a meltdown, and I have to leave. Okay, now all of us who have seen the movie The Breakup, Jennifer Aniston, you've seen the scene where she's on the phone, and it's kind of a comical thing. But it is a common online out in dating that when there is an emergency, or you get that your friend has you do that emergency phone call, kids are choking, I have a flat tire, house is burning down, whatever, please come quick, I need you. And then they're like, oh God, I gotta go, and then they get to leave. Now that wasn't the case here. This was a legitimate deal. Our date had lasted a long time, and part of the criticism that I got from this woman was that we had been together almost 3 hours, and if she was going to do a ploy, she would have done it in the early stages, because it would have been a take one look at me and, oh my God, I've got to leave this creep. I don't want to be here, and she'd have done it, which is usually how it happens. It goes quickly. You don't get through the whole meal or whatever. At any time, she could have said, hey, gotta go. Geez, great date, been together for 3 hours, whatever, we can leave. And that's fine. But the initial reaction that I had was that, whoa, what the heck, where did this come from? We went from a great, like, oh my God, this is a great date, love listening to you, to gotta go, click. And anybody in that situation, I've talked to friends or whatever, and they've said, my God, you were totally justified. Whether or not I didn't accuse her of anything, but my initial reaction to this was, whoa, oh, what the heck just happened? That is the point of this video. The point of this video is that when you get into situations like that with people that, this girl wasn't a partner, but say if you're in a relationship with somebody or whatever, if they are not willing to allow you to be a human being and to have knee-jerk reactions, to have things, to be stimulated in a certain way that you react. Now, I'm not saying you react, make an ass of yourself, and then you get into a big fight or do whatever. There's going to be situations like what I went through, and we discussed it, and I made my case to her and said, this is, look, it was a reaction to, like, all of a sudden things were going and you had this urgent gotta go, and you didn't say, hey, I'm on a date right now, I'll wrap this up quickly so I can get to you, just bear with me. It was like, gotta go, so if I'm not allowed in that moment to go, whoa, what the heck just happened here? We just went from, like, in this great date to you're headed out the door. If I'm not allowed to have a human reaction to that, then fuck you. That's the way it is. And that's the way it should be with any of you people. If you're not allowed in a relationship to be human, to have faults, to have reactions, then so be it. I was in another relationship that during the time that my mom was passing away, I acted out. I was flipping out and I lost my mind. It wasn't deemed acceptable, my behavior. And if in those times when things are so screwed up that you're not acting like a human being, you aren't allowed to be a human being with faults and be like, oh look, he's under a mountain of stress here, he's obviously not acting like himself, then you don't need that. And don't accept that from people. I'm not accepting it from this woman one bit. I've had people say, well, you can patch things up and whatever. And I kind of thought about it and wanted to talk about it. And then I said, no, that's not going to happen. Because people should be allowed to be people in relationships. I'm not saying that you act out and smack the girl across the room and then go, oh God, I was reacting to my anger, my jealousy or whatever that is. There are unacceptable limits to it. But to be surprised by something like that and to take a second to gather yourself up and to process it and think about what's really going on here, those moments, if people don't allow you to regroup in those situations and gather yourself up, Do not tolerate them. Do not allow them to continue. Because if people don't let you be a person yourself and have a few faults and to be able to at least correct them or give you the chance to explain yourself and correct it, or give you the chance to have a reaction like you touched the hot stove and you went, ah, geez, you know, that was dumb. Oh, geez, you know, I just thought about what I did. I'm stupid. Sorry, I was so dumb in that moment. You know, it caught me off guard. If you've got to allow the people that you're with to be human beings, to be caught off guard, to have knee-jerk reactions, to just be stimulated, you know, negatively or whatever by something, and then have a chance to think about it and say, ah, geez, you know, okay, that was dumb of me. I overreacted. I had an issue. If people evaluate you on that, or evaluate your relationship, or kick you to the curb, or like this girl booted me, you know, right as a viable candidate for a future date, like, oh, that was a red flag. No, you were dating a human being who responded to stimulus in a way that a lot of other people who I've run this by would have done the same thing and said, oh God, I would have been like, what the hell is that all about too? What the fuck are you doing here? You know, and if you're not allowed to be that, then you don't need those people, you don't need those relationships. The perfect relationships are the ones where people allow themselves to be that way, so they also allow you to be that way. And if they're going to tolerate, well, God, I was just acting out from something, you know. As a child, my father would come in the house and he would say, what the hell, something, something, when he had a bad day. So when you just said that same thing, it took me right back. It took me back to my ex-husband doing this. It took me back to when my brother used to pick on me. And sorry, but it took me a second to get back to being, this is the here and now, and this isn't the real situation. If you can't forgive people for those things when those things happen, then those are the poor relationships, and you don't need them. So I am not going to contact this girl. I'm not putting her on a pedestal, because I had a little bit, because she was a really great woman. But no, the relationship, the dynamic, and being accepted for who you are is way more important than kissing somebody's ass to try to get them to just give you a second chance. Don't beg for it. I'm not begging for it. I've learned that lesson. I've learned that you don't do it. Self-respect for yourself. You put yourself first and do that. And in a relationship, if a person isn't going to let you be a human being and have a few faults and to have a few reactions and then allow you to explain yourself and to make it better and to move on from it, if you're being judged on your DNA or just instinctive things that you do that you really didn't have a time to think about, then you don't need those people, because they're not perfect either.